Most empires are built on territory. NATO built one without borders, and that is what makes it one of the most enduring power structures of our time or age. When we think about empire, we usually think about borders. Rome stretched across Europe. But what if I told you one of the most enduring empires of our time holds no land at all? That is NATO. NATO doesn't plant flags. It doesn't rule provinces. It rules through obligations. Its empire is not territorial. It is contractual. Here is the blueprint. Article 5. Collective defense. Attack one, attack all. On paper, it is simple. In practice, it means member states surrender a portion of their sovereignty because NATO decides what war means, when war starts, and how war is fought. That is not just military cooperation, that is governance without geography. Think about the cost structure. Traditional empires needed standing armies, vast garrisons, colonial bureaucracy. NATO outsources all of that back to the member states. Each country maintains its forces, pays its budget share, and contributes its infrastructure. NATO coordinates. In other words, empire without overhead. And then there is legitimacy. Old empires had to justify conquest. NATO justified itself through deterrence. The ability to decide what is defense and what is aggression is itself sovereign power. Look at the Cold War. NATO didn't just outlast the Soviet Union, it metabolized the victory. One by one, former Warsaw Pact states joined the alliance. No shots fired, no annexations, just expansion through gravity. And today, NATO still acts like an empire. It dictates member defense budgets, shapes foreign policy, and pulls weaker states into alignment with stronger ones. Think about it. When NATO sets a 2% GDP defense spending target, it is not a suggestion. That is an empire setting tribute levels. But the real genius is NATO is impossible to overthrow. You cannot storm the capital of NATO. You cannot overthrow its government. It exists everywhere and nowhere. It is an empire distributed across nations, with no palace to burn and no frontier to breach. So, here is the lesson for empire builders. Territory makes you visible, land makes you vulnerable. NATO teaches us that the most durable power is weightless. Alliances, commitment, influence, deterrence. It is the empire that doesn't need land. And in that sense, NATO might be one of the most perfect empires ever designed.